HVAC or heating and air conditioning split unit. The question, how does one know? Is there a simple way without putting the gauges on when the system is in air conditioning mode to understand or to gain knowledge if the system is working well or if the system, how the system is functioning? Once the gauges are connected, one can determine certain formulas, say, i.e., superheat, subcooling, etc. But say we don't have any gauges and we go up to a system and then we're trying to figure out how well the system's working. And then, say if it were in the hot summer months and the unit's running outside, say, hypothetically, if one takes their hand and puts it, say, about a foot and a half away from the grate where the fan is, the condenser fan motor outside, if you feel hot air coming off of there and you don't hear any clacking, no bearings or no fan shards, it sounds like the fan's getting a little wonky, it sounds like everything's running smoothly, this may be a good sign. So this is just one simple way. But then another way to be able to assess whether the system is functioning well, we have here we have two lines, and the line set would be, I'm not sure if when people call it set, they mean actually just like a pair. And so we have one larger line, we have one smaller line. Typically, the larger line has a piece of insulation on it, sort of like an analogy would be the insulation if you were to do your water pipes under the house to keep them from freezing. Because this larger line tends to sweat. And when it begins to sweat here, and this would hold the moisture, hold the temperature in, and also it could, I'm not certain if this is the reason, and the experts can add it to the comments, but it could actually, if it were, say, draped across the inside of the attic or something, perhaps help the condensation from leaking down and dripping down on your drywall and other areas that you're not unwanted areas. But we have a line set. We have a larger and we have a smaller line set. So now, say we go up to a system, and in the middle of the summertime, whether that be July, June, August, or whatnot, and the air conditioning is running, and we look at it and we start to see sweat on the copper pipes. This may be a good sign. And the copper pipes do not have white frost on them. They do not have ice on them, frost. They just look simply just like this. They just look like a simple copper pipe with, say, a cup with, not like a cup. It doesn't look like a cup, but say if you took a cup out of the refrigerator or freezer and then you started to see sweat on the side, you may see sweat. But here's what you do. You come up to the line set, and also just when you come up to the line set, some of the old school guys will grab the line set here, the one line of the line set, the bigger line, not the smaller line. And when you grab this bigger line by your hand, you don't have to hold it tautly. You can just put your hand around it, and if it feels good and cold, like, say, like a cup or a soda can that you pulled out of the refrigerator or the freezer and you had your hands around it, this could be a good sign. So this is just an easy and a quick way. Just simply go up to it, inspect it. If you see a little bit of sweat, if you don't see any frost, no ice, again, on the bigger line, take and put your hand around it. When you put your hand around the larger line of the two lines, that is, and if it feels good and cold to your touch, this is a good indicator that the system may be working well. So, and then at some point, you may want to have a technician to put the gauges on it and then give you your exact numbers. But generally speaking, if you go up, no ice, no frost, just copper pipes, a little bit of condensation, and you grab it here and it's cold to the touch, that's a good sign that the system's working. So again, which pipe do we grab? We don't really grab it. We just kind of gingerly wrap our palm around it. We grab the larger line, not the smaller line, the larger line. And if the larger line feels cold in the summer months, the system may be working in close to a optimum level. But again, to be scientific, one needs to put the gauges on it and run the formulas of superheat and subcooling. So again, just put your hand around it. If it feels good and cold, no ice, no frost, your system may be working fine. And you go in and then also you put your hand in front of the register. And if you put your hand in front of the register and you feel cold air out, that's a good sign. And also one other tip, be sure to change the filters and change the filters regularly. If you have pets, be sure, I would say, change the filters, say maybe 3 times in the summer or at least 2 times in the summer. And then once, maybe quarterly, change the, if you have pets. If you don't have pets, you may want to change it roughly, rule of thumb, maybe twice a year or some thereabouts. But keep the return vent clean and so the airflow can smoothly flow over it. And again, just grab this, and if this feels cold, this would be located outside. If you had a split unit, you would have 2, the smaller one and the bigger one. The one you would want to touch would be the bigger one. And you can just touch it with your finger if you would like. And if it feels good and cold, no frost, your system may be somewhere in the ballpark of working in the correct fashion. So, and again, when you go in, the ambient temperature inside of the house bespeaks how well the system's running. But if you do this, there's a high probability once going into the house should feel fine too. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.